I don't know why that song is stuck in my head, but it really is. That's not... I wouldn't call myself a Phil Collins fan. I like some of his music, but certainly that song is not one of my favorites of the ones I even... Okay, that microphone is way too low. Hold on, I gotta adjust the mic. It's way too low. I mean, it's probably fine. It picks up my voice well enough, but there we go. That's much better. It just felt like it was about to fall off. Okay. Right on time. Woo! Started at 6:15. That's what I was aiming for. That's what I did. Okay. Let's see. Twitch is showing a good connection. YouTube is showing a good connection. We will switch our chat for YouTube to live. I see chat for... Sorry, I lost my complete head. Chat for Twitch is working. I did intend to have the on-screen chat thing working for today, but some stuff came up and I didn't get a chance to look at, so I apologize. I'll just keep reading them. But I know of a way to do it. I just have to get it all locked in. All right, let me do a couple of background things here. Oh, I have to make sure my reflector is up. It is. I just need to switch it to show it. There it is. Okay. That's good. That's not, nobody's here yet anyway, so it's perfectly fine anyway. Okay, I just have to go ahead and hit enter in a few places, so bear with me. I gotta plug my mouse in because apparently it's low. So, enter. And enter. And enter. And enter. And whoop. Enter. I don't know what button I was typing there, but it definitely wasn't enter. And, oh, I'm in the wrong spot for that. Where is that? Here it is. Enter. And enter. Okay, well, I'm going to delete my last message. I don't like to stack them, so take that out. Enter. Oh, I'm choking on my own words. Oh, right there. Enter. And one last place, which is right here. Enter. And we are done with that. Oh, wait a minute. What is that saying? I just advanced to level 9. Okay. Because I posted things? Whatever. All right. Thanks. Bye. All right. I don't care. Okay. I just have to post on the socials. So, one moment. Okay. Thanks. Oh, I'm live on my channel. How nice for me. Okay. Close that. Sorry, I forgot to mute it. That's okay. Ah, man. Ear is itching me. Here we go. And we just need to post this link. So there we are. And paste. Wait for the link card to show up. And post. That is done. And we just have to put it on here. Oh yeah, there it is. I'm in the right spot. I'm in the right spot. You're in the right spot. Paste. Post. Post, paste, whatever. And then I need to repost it on the other account. Repost. Okay, got it. So that is all done. Sorry about that. That took 3 minutes. Not bad, not bad. All right, so I gotta move my keyboard. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the keyboard off. I shouldn't need it. Oh, I forgot my water. I'm gonna walk into the other room and get the water. So you're gonna hear some noise as I walk. The microphone should stay live the whole time, but you may hear some weird background echoing as I move around. You probably pick up some fan noise because I just went under a fan. Because of course it's the first week of May, so in California it's now 90 degrees. Because that's how seasons work here, lovingly. I'm gonna get a sip of water really quick. Which is fine because nobody's here, so it's all right. Okay. Oh, I gotta plug my mouse in. My mouse was telling me that it was low, so let's go ahead and plug that in. There we are. Okay. Oh, I need the mouse. Oh, well, the mouse is still working. I just need to do it carefully. Let's start that. The mouse is close enough that I'm okay. It should be fine for me to use if I need it. I move this here. And we will go ahead and put the... Oh, there we go. I had to do a little bit of rotational angle there because I'm using the wide thing, just because I think it fills the screen a little better. And this is where we are, which is where we were on the last stream 2 days ago, as of the live recording that we're doing right now. So, oh, I already did that one? Oh, wait a minute, did I do them all? Whoa! I did them all. Oh, I didn't erase them all. Okay, guy. I'm like, wait a minute, I did all this already? No, I didn't. I did the first one, I didn't do this one. Okay. All right, here we go. So it is, as of this live stream, it is Thursday, about 6:21 in the PMs. So, yeah. And, I guess this is a bit of a... I mean, it's only going to matter if somebody shows up live. Otherwise, I'm not spoiling it for anybody. Because by the time this posts to the channel after the fact, it won't matter. It'll be... The 5 will be long posted. But I recorded a 5 for Monday because it's very... Gotta make sure I say these words right. It's very variable on whether I do 5s that are right when I post them or not. But a lot of times, I don't like to do them too far ahead unless it's something where I'm afraid that I will forget. The danger of that being if I do it on something topical, then there's a chance that by the time it posts, something will have changed. Now, that's the case with the 5. Oh man, my throat just got really dry. The 5 that I recorded today for Monday, because it was specifically about Apple's most recent, as of this live stream, their most recent hardware event where they were talking about iPad Pros. And they had a video, well, the event itself was a video, but one of the videos they showed in the course of the event video, so ridiculous, isn't it? What a world, was not well received by many people within the creative communities. And I mean, you couldn't escape this for, I mean, you still can't. It's still pretty much the item of the day, but there's been an update, a recent update, where Apple has now apologized for what they did. But anyway, anywhere you went, you would see some news story about people who were upset about this video because they felt like it was disrespectful to creators, especially because right now there's still a lot of, I don't even know what the word is. There's still a lot of uncertainty. Maybe that's the right word. A lot of uncertainty around content creation and the wonderful AI or machine models or LLMs or whatever. And people are still, very upset about that and trying to figure out what it all means. And then Apple did this video where, if you haven't seen it, they basically, because they announced new iPad Pros. And one of the big selling points of it is that it's exceptionally thin. They've lightened it and they've made it thinner. And so the video was really highlighting, well, it was attempting to do two things. Neither of which I think it did very well, and one it did far more poorly than the other. The video was attempting to highlight the fact that the iPad, for many people, is a highly useful content creation device. Something I can sympathize with as I'm doing this stream using an iPad for the artwork. What you're watching me do, and I think this is pretty obvious, and I think I've always said this, I'm doing this on an iPad. So obviously I agree and do use my iPad as my primary content. I'm not going to use that phrase, such a bad phrase. I use it as my primary art machine. There we go. I'm not going to say content creation. I don't like, it's a really, really great video by, what's his name? Patrick H. Willems about the word content, and specifically content creation, and how that's really, really a terrible term to use for this type of thing, which I totally agree with. I try not to say content creation now because it is, I believe Stephanie Sterling also has made a similar point about how it really does cheapen the effort of people who are creators. But in any event, Apple was attempting to do two things. They were attempting to spotlight the fact that for a lot of people, a lot of creators, the iPad is a primary tool for the creations that they do. And as I said, that would certainly apply to me. And of course, my dog comes in with a toy because she wants to play. Doesn't want to play if I'm not doing anything. Always wants to play if I'm doing something. Yeah, I see you. Okay, well, now she's consumed with her own rear end, so I should be okay. Let me make sure. Okay, I didn't. In any event, so they were attempting to spotlight these two things. The fact that it is a very worthwhile tool for creators, which I agree with, and in their newest version of it is exceptionally light and thin in comparison to their former models. I'm pretty sure it's still relatively heavy if you're going to be holding it in your hand for a while. Right? So that was the aim, as far as anybody could tell, otherwise it makes no sense, of the video they made. The problem is the way that they chose to highlight, I suppose would be the word, the creative aspects of the device. The way they did that, their visual metaphor for... it's such a confused thing. I don't even really understand what the thinking is. This is obvious. This ad to me is just the most recent example in the long-running decline of Apple's ability to market effectively. I mean, this thing just makes no sense. Any way you look at it, this was a bad idea. Forget even the fact that this ad was released at a point where a lot of people are struggling with the idea of how they're going to be able to keep making the stuff they make in a world where there are machines all over the place that are ingesting their content and everything else. And I've talked about that before. I'm not going to relitigate that. I think I've made my feelings pretty clear on machine-generated artwork and the fact that I think it has a place, but that it's definitely also there's pros and cons to it, let's put it that way. I am neither a true believer nor somebody who's afraid of it. In any event, that's not something that just happened this morning. So Apple should have been well aware that there was probably going to be some portion of people that were going to look at this, because what the ad does, to describe it if you haven't seen it, you can go watch it, it's on Apple's site, but just as a general descriptor, in very broad terms, the video shows a gigantic hydraulic press. You know, the thing that crushes stuff. Just two big flat pieces of metal with a piston. Very, very simple. And those two flat pieces of metal with a piston, in between them, what you see is various different creative tools. So there's paints, and there is a metronome, so for like music. There is a video game cabinet, which this is one of the more bizarre ones too of the way. But anyway, so there's a video game cabinet. I'm not saying video games are not creation. I'll explain what I mean about it was bizarre to use a video game, and you'll understand why when I get to it. But all different methods of creation, and lots of other ones too. I'm not describing every single thing, but it's a large portion of things. And the video then shows this hydraulic press coming down and crushing. Oh, I just noticed that I did not mask out that one part of the cape tail. Let me get that right there. Do it before I forget. I don't know why it does that. There we go. I got true black right there. So the press comes down, the hydraulic press, I should say, comes down and begins to crush all of these items, all these different things, uniformly. So, and I mean very visibly crushing them. You see, like this, there's a sculpture of a bust, a sculpture of a head, and it becomes deformed and gets crushed. The video game cabinet is annihilated under this press, and this thing keeps coming down. It's just crushing everything that's there. Paints, all the rest of it, paints burst, all this type of thing. And then the press, it closes the gap, and that's when everything kind of blows up. And there's a beat while it sits there closed, and then it opens up, and inside, instead of all those things that were there before, is an iPad Pro. And then a hand comes out just a hand. There's no person, just a hand. And picks it up. And I think it says something like the all-new and possibly thin iPad Pro. Right? Now, you would imagine, just thinking about this logically, if you're, you know, and I don't understand, I don't expect everybody who's listening to necessarily be a marketer, and I am not in marketing, but as an illustrator, a part of what makes illustration what it is understanding how to explain a narrative, to tell a story of some kind. And I have done marketing stuff. I can't put it on my resume as in I've never worked in marketing, but I've done marketing and communications work. So I understand that, you know, there's when it comes to marketing and communication, there's lots of things to consider. But among the very top things that you have to be aware of is who are you communicating to and what is the message? What is the message that you are trying to most clearly convey in simple terms, right? So Apple, in showing the creative implements, the metronome, the paints specifically, some other things. Now, with the video game and the bust of the sculpture, that's a little bit more gray area because those are finished things. So you're not showing the development of those things. You're not showing the creation of them. You're showing the end result. But when you show paint, when you show a keyboard, a metronome, when you show paints, did I ever say paints? I think I did. Sorry, paints. When you show things that are tools of creation, sorry, my irresistible urge to yawn just keeps kicking in. So when you're showing things that are specifically creative tools, you are sending a message. You are identifying the audience via those tools, right? So if you just wanted to indicate finished works, meaning the audience is for people who, I guess, enjoy art or video games or music or whatever, you would only show because I think the very first thing they show is a vinyl record spinning. You would stick with things that were finished. Now, by the way, I want to stress right up front here, the level of anger over this ad I think is ridiculous. And I said as much in the 5 that will be out as of this live recording on Monday, and if you're watching this later, has already been long out. I said, this is not something people should actually be angry about. There are greater problems in the world than Apple making a crappy ad, which it is. It's a crappy ad. It's not a good ad. That was my bottom line with the 5. I said, look, whatever else, this is a bad ad. This is not a good ad. Because Apple has somehow lost the ability to make good ads. I mean, they've been on a long streak of making really bad marketing choices. This is just the latest one. But in any event, if you want to communicate this to people who are just into the end product, then you only show the end product. You indicate that, oh, that's what I mean about the audience and the messaging, right? So if you want to say that this is purely a consumption device, this is purely for people who want to watch movies or who want to listen to music or want to play video games but don't make them, then you don't show the implements of creating those things. You just show the end results. And then the ad makes a lot of sense because when it opens up and there's just an iPad. And then the other thing is when the hand shows the iPad, it doesn't even show any of those things on it. Meaning, if the hand had turned, because the hand's flat to show how thin it is. Okay, got it. It's thin. I don't know why that's such a thing for everybody. I would, I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. That's a completely separate topic. In terms of the ad, if the first thing is to demonstrate how thin it is. Got it. You showed that from the side. So you're showing a profile of it. Perfect. Fine. Makes sense. It's thin. Because that's one of their big selling points. Okay. Then what you do is then it turns. But when it turns, it doesn't show any of those things that were crushed. Now on the iPad, it just shows frankly, I think, again, this is what I mean about Apple. I don't know what's going on over there. It shows the wallpaper. I don't like that line. It looks like it's coming off the arm. I gotta redo that line. Sorry, this is got to get redone. It's just, that's not good. Whoa, wrong pen. It just shows this, frankly, not very impressive wallpaper that they're using for it, which, whatever, it's not that big a deal, but it's not a great wallpaper. But then you should show all the things that you just crushed are now on the iPad, meaning, well, we didn't destroy them. We've managed to move all this bulky, big stuff. We've condensed it down into the iPad, this ultra light, ultra portable thing that will let you enjoy all these things on the go. That's not what they did. Instead, it just shows the, it just shows the hand holding the iPad with this really unremarkable wallpaper. So this is purely a mistake that Apple, forced on themselves. I mean, and this is what I mean about it's just a bad ad because it doesn't communicate. The message isn't properly communicated. The audience is muddled and inappropriate for what they're trying to advertise. It's just a train wreck, top to bottom. So, if I was the person in charge of the marketing department at Apple and I saw this, I would have a very simple suggestion. And this is the root of what I'm going to talk about. Again, this is something that anybody watching this later, it doesn't matter anymore. This show is long out by now. But my plan for the Friday show we're going to do is to explain that there was a very simple, well, there's two simple things they could have done. But as it stands, they could have done one simple change. Sorry. That would have fixed this. There's really two ways they could have done it. But the easiest one, where they could have used the commercial 99% as it was when that hand turned, right? You would see all the things that were crushed are now in the iPad on the screen. And then the hand would turn back so it was flat. And then one of those objects, if it was me, I would have selected the bust of the head. Then you would see the head come up out of the iPad, and you would see the hand kind of go up, another hand come in, and the Apple Pencil would kind of fall into it, and then you would see the person kind of sculpting with the pencil. So what you've shown there is, okay, we take all this huge stuff that would take up all this room and require all this space and effort, and we've condensed it down and given you a tool that lets you do all of it that fits in the palm of your hand. And you're selling not only the iPad, but also the pencil. Instead, they just show the iPad. And so people are, I think a lot of the reason that people are upset is because not only, I mean, there is the element of, okay, Apple's crushing creativity, which, no, they're not. I mean, that's what I mean about, this is not an ad to get upset about. I'm sorry, it's just not, everybody. It's not that big a deal. It's just a junky ad. But it is, no doubt, a junky ad. That's the biggest problem with it for me, is this is a crappy ad. Who thought this was a good ad? Because again, most important part of marketing and communication is, what is the message? Well, first is, who is the audience? What message are we trying to convey to them? And are we doing it efficiently? Because in this case, they're not. And, you know, I'm mystified by it. I use that word in my 5 very specifically. Sorry, I'm yelling. I'm actually tired. I use the word mystified, I believe, in my 5. I absolutely meant it because it is mystifying that they did this. It's just so odd. Because Apple used to be really good at this stuff. One of the things that Apple did really well was marketing. They understood how to convey a message properly. And this ad is they've now, and so the update is that Apple has come out and said that they, we misread the room, which I guess that, I think that's referring more to the stuff with all the large language models and creators being upset about these machine tools. But to me, that's not the problem. That's not the problem. The problem is it's a bad ad. It's just a fundamental failure in terms of marketing and messaging. And I guess somebody, you could, ooh, geez, look at that. That's not good. What did I do there? Yeesh, I gotta repeat. Oh, I gotta fix that. That's gotta get fixed. That's gotta get fixed right now, because I can't have that. Yikes. Speaking of screwing up, there we go. I must have missed that when I was doing it before. Okay, got it fixed. Yeah, it's a bad ad. And I did see somebody say, well, what they were trying to say was that it was thin. Well, that was conveyed. Okay. Yes, but then the ad should have been more specifically geared towards size. It should have been showing, I don't know, you could have shown a big, room-filling computer to do very simple graphics. And then it could reduce down to a computer that fit on a desk doing a little bit better graphics. And then it could even show a Mac, that the laptop or whatever doing slightly better graphics. And then eventually you just bring it down to show that, wow, look how far we've come with computing. That now this thing that is thinner than a magazine can do these amazing graphics, can allow you to create all that stuff. I mean, there's a way to do that, but this is not that. What I'm saying is it's I feel like people are getting really hung up on the wrong part of this thing. No, don't get me wrong. I mean, you don't have to get hung up on any of this. Honestly, nobody should be that upset about this thing. It's an ad by a company trying to make money. Can we stop pretending that Apple is a friend of the creators or whatever these people must think? It's not. It's a computing company. Well, it's a technology company, really. I shouldn't say computing. That's not even really true anymore. They're just trying to sell things, okay? They're just trying to sell you stuff. Stop pretending they care about you or that they care about the creative mission. But they don't care. They care so much as don't make them money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're completely oblivious, but they don't care about creators. They don't care about anything. They care about money. That's what a company's in it for. They're not in it to be nice and to be your friend. They're in it to make some cash. And you just look at some of the things Apple's done in recent years, and it's very obvious. But in particular with this ad thing, I just find it very funny that people are so wound up about it. They're just so angry about it. About the thing, and the worst offense of it is just that it's not, like I said, it's not a good ad. But I did in my 5, I pointed out, this is yet another example of Apple just, I don't know what's going on. I really do think some of it is, as some people pointed out, not having Steve. People wondered when Steve Jobs died, however many years ago that was, can Apple keep going? And of course, that was always kind of a silly question. Of course, Apple would keep going. It already had the momentum. All you had to do was not screw up what was already working. And Steve Jobs was no fool. He had many faults, but he was not a fool. So he had somebody in place. He had to know that Tim Cook was going to be able to keep the business part of Apple running. And to his credit, for Tim Cook, he has. He has kept the business part of Apple humming along. Apple is worth more now than it's, I believe, ever been. And honestly, that is the ultimate assessment of a CEO. Is the company worth more today than when you started? Is the company in a better position, I guess, technically? And it absolutely is. So Tim Cook owes nobody a thing. He's done every bit the job he was supposed to do at Apple, which, contrary to what some people think, was not to keep the vision of, wasn't to keep Steve Jobs' vision alive or any of that nonsense. It was to keep making money, and that's what he's done. So whatever else you want to say about him, in terms of his responsibility to the company, and more importantly, the shareholders of the company and the market, he's done every single thing correct, or as much as he could ever do. Of course, there's a completely separate discussion to be had about how the market will never be satisfied with anything you ever do unless you have infinite growth, which is impossible. But is impossible, so there's no point in even talking about that. In terms of the realistic things that Tim Cook could do, he's done them all. But to bring this back around to where I was originally starting with the loss of Steve Jobs, I also think, as many people have correctly observed, he's not an idea guy that way. Jobs, again, for all of his numerous faults, and I am not the biggest Steve Jobs fan around, but I will absolutely concede, because it is the truth, that he knew how to market, he knew how to talk to people, Now, there's an asterisk after that because he could also be a quite abusive and not very pleasant person, including to his own flesh and blood. But in terms of selling Apple, it is hard to rationally argue that he did not do a phenomenal job in resurrecting Apple and making it into this prestige thing that people covet. That part of Jobs has not died. That aura of what Apple is so still intrinsically tied to the company. It's really pretty impressive, honestly. It to look at that and realize that Steve Jobs has been gone a long time, and yet Apple retains this feeling of his presence, this prestige to it. Some earned, some not, in the aftermath of his death. That's impressive, and a lot of that came down to the way that he basically put things in place to keep it the way he had it when he died. So Tim Cook has kept that part moving. He's a logistics guy. He's kept all the parts moving. He's kept everything getting sold that needs to get sold. He keeps the price of the stock going up as much as he can. You know, there's only so much you can do. There are market forces beyond anyone's control. And the fact that, you know, you can't possibly expect every product that Apple makes to be a winner. That's just ridiculous. See the Vision Pro. But he is not a visionary type. Tim Cook does not have that type of, I don't know, lofty, at times nonsensical vision of what Apple is. And I think that's where somebody like that won't look at an ad like this and see any problem with it. Somebody like that will look at the ad and say, yeah, okay. It points out that the thing is very, very thin. Well, that's what we're selling it on. So perfect. Ship it. We're good. Run it. You got it. Whereas anybody else, I doubt Steve Jobs would have allowed this ad to go out this way. I'm not saying he would have completely retooled it, but I don't think it would be in this form. I would be very surprised if this ad had gotten released with Steve Jobs still at that company. I would almost bet money it would not. So, like I said, I don't think anybody should look at this ad. I've been talking about this for like 30 minutes. I don't believe this is worthy of anybody's anger. You know, we're in a world where quite literally people are being bombed and dying every day. An Apple ad is hardly the most important thing to focus on right now. So maybe it is a diversionary thing. Maybe the reason people are focusing on it is because they're so sick of everything else. And I guess that makes some sense. But stepping out from that for a minute, this is not something to be upset about in anybody. It's just a bad ad. It's really just that. And so I hadn't watched it. I said this in the 5. This was not an exaggeration. I hadn't seen it because on the day of the announcement, because we kind of knew, everybody really knows there's no hiding anything anymore. So it wasn't really a secret what was coming. There were small details that people weren't sure about, but it was very clear it was going to be a new iPad and, you know, a new pencil, and that's what it was. So no real surprise. So I wasn't really watching it. I was listening to the Twit.tv network did a live event of it, and they were talking about it, and that was fine. I didn't need to see it. So I remember them mentioning the ad, but I didn't actually watch it. And I had no intention to because I knew everything I needed to know about the devices, which is I'm not going to buy them because they're not, they're very impressive, but not for the amount of money I'd have to spend. I'm not going to upgrade everything. There's nothing in there I really need. The iPad line remains vastly overpowered for what it can actually do, which is sort of hysterical. But so I didn't watch it. And then I started seeing all these articles popping up about, Apple facing severe backlash over video. What? What? The video from the event? I thought it was a different video at first. I didn't know what anybody was talking about. I thought like something had leaked from inside the company showing, I don't know, Tim Cook smacking children or something. So I didn't know what was going on. And then I saw, oh, okay, it's about this video. And then I saw screenshots before I watched the actual video. And I looked at it and I'm like, they're upset about this? This doesn't look that upsetting. It looks like a hydraulic press crushing some things. But I was like, all right, I'll watch it. And let me see if this is actually something that people should be upset about. And sure enough, it isn't. But like I said, and if that had been all it was, if it was just an ad, if it was a well done ad that happened to irritate people, I wouldn't even have bothered doing a 5 on it. We're like, okay, these are people just, I guess because it's a day that ends in Y, people have to be upset about something, so they've chosen this for some reason. I guess I shouldn't say for some reason. There is the inevitable kind of backlash in general against Apple because they've been popular for so long that you eventually get to that point where people just want to start to see you fail because you've been on top for so long. As a Yankees fan, I'm well familiar with this phenomenon. So, But I watched it expecting it to be a good ad and just to say that, and just to see that people were being silly about it. And, probably mentioned it to Lando in passing about people are really just getting upset over nothing. But then when I watched the ad and I went, oh, this is terrible. Not terrible and outraged, it's terribly made. What is this? And I was really, I think I said in the 5, I was both surprised and not surprised because I have noticed this pretty steady decline in Apple's marketing prowess. So I wasn't really shocked by it. But at the same time, I was, because it just feels like it really just feels like the company doesn't know how to market their stuff anymore, which is just not something you ever used to say about Apple. Apple used to be really good at telling their story, and they just really aren't. And it started because a lot of things now, we're starting to come to the end of it, but there's still a lot of things where companies will try to blame things on COVID. And I saw some people saying, oh yeah, Apple with COVID, it took them by surprise, and they haven't really. No. That started before COVID. Don't try to do that. Apple was having these problems before COVID. Don't do that. It is not a COVID thing, or it's not a COVID related thing where they suddenly post-COVID lost the ability to know how to do marketing. Are you kidding me? Come on, it's not that. They just don't know what they're doing in terms of marketing. And I really do think some of it comes back to, and this isn't really a criticism, or at least not one I would say that it's really fair to criticize, but I just don't think Tim Cook is this type of person. I don't think he has that creative kind of vision the way that Jobs did. Because you really, in a company like Apple, what you need is, and what was there for a while, is two types of people. You have the visionary type, Steve Jobs, somebody, when I say visionary, I mean somebody who in their mind has this utopian version of what they think a product should be. And then the other person, the Tim Cook version, or Tim Cook person, is the one who makes sure that it gets done. That when you say, I want to make this whatever device, and I want it to be able to ship by this time, and I want it to do this, then the Tim Cook side of the equation says, okay, I will put the tools into place to make sure that happens. And right now they don't have the vision side anymore, because Steve Jobs died, and Johnny Ive, who was somebody who worked very closely with Steve Jobs, Johnny Ive's gone. Has been gone for a while. And in fact, I saw a story, I think, earlier today that one of the last people, if not the last few people who were part of the Johnny Ive design team, because Johnny Ive is a designer who a lot of Apple people are not fans of because he came up with some of the worst designs that Apple, in terms of their hardware, has done in recent years. And, that's why he's gone. They gave some other vague reason, whatever. They kicked him out because he was making really bad decisions. But that was their last kind of idea person. And since they don't have him now, I don't know that there's anybody else quite like, because say what you want about Johnny Ive, but it's much the same thing as Steve Jobs, where Johnny Ive clearly had design ideas that he was very, very confident in and wanted to see. Now, it just so happened that a lot of them were not things that the people buying the products necessarily liked, and some of them really didn't work. But nonetheless, Johnny Ive did have a design vision in mind. He was doing stuff that he felt was the correct place to be putting the design ethos of Apple. Say what you will about him, but he stuck to what he thought was the right way to do it, and he did it. So now, without him, again, and again, I just want to make sure I'm being very clear about this. This is not really a criticism of Tim Cook. It's just a reality of it. That piece is missing, which is sort of odd to me. That did they not have a plan for what happened if Johnny Ive got hit by a bus? Forget even that he left the company, but what would have happened if he got sick or something like Jobs did? They really have nobody else ready to go on that? It's weird, isn't it? I find it odd. No, hold on, I gotta click on the, can't see the thing here, just in case. I don't think anybody's gonna show up. Yeah, because there's no chat or anything like that, but just in case. Wait, let me move the, is the mouse in the way? It is. Let me move it over to there. Okay. And that's sort of the baffling part to me, is that there just doesn't appear to be a person with a really confident idea, an overall approach to how these products should be. I don't say that meaning I think Apple's in any trouble. Of course it's not. It's making way too much money. Apple would have to make so many mistakes, one after the other, to be in even the slightest difficulty that it's ridiculous to even entertain it. Only people who truly hate Apple would be able to delude themselves to think that company is. The amount of things they'd have to do wrong. And ads are not going to be one of them. It's not going to be bad ads. I mean, you'd have to make an ad that was, I don't know, endorsing the Holocaust or something like that to be able to really conjure the idea of what could sink Apple. Hey, Faint Waves, how you doing? Good evening. No, I got about 20 minutes or so. No, I'm going to go for a good hour. But I appreciate you coming in, regardless. I've just been ranting about Apple for 35 plus minutes now, which was not my plan, but it's just the way that it's worked out. I've just been talking about their terrible, terrible ad, and why I think that ad was even allowed to be makes it sound like they're in a kindergarten. Why that ad was approved to go out as is. I really am just stunned by it, because it's so colossally awful. And not awful like offensive. Again, I'm not saying that, it wasn't an ad saying Hitler was right or something like that. That's not what I mean by awful. But it's certainly not the type of ad you would expect from a company like Apple. It's more like a Samsung ad than anything else. Samsung is known for just making bizarrely weird and bad ads. But Apple usually, or used to be, I shouldn't say usually, used to be a lot better at that stuff. So, I was wrapping up my rant, though, which is probably better for you, because I really don't need to know that I needed to talk about it for as long as I did, but it's just one of those bizarre things where it's very easy for people to say things like, oh, I could have done that better, when, realistically, could they have? Probably not. But in this case, could I have made a better ad than Apple did? Yeah, I could have. Because again, you just had to change one thing, and that ad is all right. But they've apologized now, so they whether they actually are sorry, I doubt it. But they clearly realize that they don't want this negative association with the ad to in any way impact. I mean, not that it would. It's not going to stop it. No ad like that. Not an ad like that is not. Nobody's going to not buy a new iPad because of that. They'll have other reasons not to buy a new iPad. It's not going to be because they saw an ad they didn't like. Come on, let's be realistic here. They'd be fine. Yeah. But no, I'm going to be going for a little while yet. I got a nice chunk of time this evening. So, at the very least, I'd like to finish cleaning up these lines, because then I can actually start getting to color. And get some color in here and make this thing start to come alive a little bit more. I mean, it's where I want it to be. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it as is. I'm actually pretty happy with how it's going, because I like this character's design. It's unfortunate that the magic card that this character is on is just a weak card, so... Ooh, I saw that. There we go, got it. So, I don't know. It's not very popular. It's too bad. Because I like the card and I like the character design. But I'm not complaining. It is still... I was talking to somebody about this today, that I'm still mystified, even, 2 years, whatever it is after the fact now, that Magic would allow me, somebody who'd never worked for them before, to do one of their most, for that time, popular characters and popular cards. I'm still pretty stunned by it. Which reminds me, I'm terrible with Instagram. I got some Instagram messages from people, which I didn't even realize, because I'm terrible with Instagram, about like getting cards signed and that type of thing, so I got to reply to them. But Instagram is so weird as an app. It just doesn't, I mean, I don't really care for it to begin with, but the way it does some of the notifications is not very clear. Same as a lot of them where you get notified for every little thing. It's just like, jeez, enough. I don't need notices, every time somebody just likes something that isn't... All apps should have an easier way. This is just a blanket statement, so take it out of the context of Instagram. All apps should have easier ways to say, you know what? I don't want you to show me notifications on this thing anymore. I'll stay in this group or whatever this thread is, but I don't need to know if somebody likes something. I'm actually very happy that I don't have an iPhone, specifically because of the way people use, or I should say abuse, group messaging, where they have to love things and you get notified just because they put a heart or a like or a love on something. Oh, man. My wife sometimes, I think, wants to break her phone in half, and I don't blame her based on the amount of notifications she gets. It's insane. I mean, it's just crazy. Do you really need to know every time somebody loves an image or statement or whatever? I don't think you do. But, like I said, I don't have an iPhone, so I don't really have to worry about it. That's fine. I'm happy being outside all that stuff. All right, I think I got all these lines cleaned up, so let's turn the other ones back on. Let's see where we are. Oh, yeah, there we go. Well, we're going to have to erase some of these because they're like, that's too crowded. So we'll have to... What I'm going to do is, the first one is this one. So let's bring this one. We'll leave 13 at max. We'll bring that one down to 75. We'll bring this one down to 50. We'll bring this one down to 20 or 30. And then we'll bring this one down to like, I don't know, 15. And that way I can see where everything is. See, I can kind of get a sense of where things are here. Because some of these have got to go. So, for example, this one, this line is going, because that's too crowded, whereas I don't mind those other ones. Those are okay. That's okay. This one is going. Other one can stay. That one's okay. Oh, well, that's got to go. That's this one, right? Yes, that's got to go. Goodbye. Okay, that's got to go. Those are okay. Those are... Well, this is... Hold on. This one is unnecessary because I've got the other one. Well, that's going to be tricky to get rid of, though. So let's get rid of this one. There we are. Nice. Very good. This is too much. So that goes. That's okay. That's okay. This is all just based on what I'm looking at. I mean, there's no real... Wow. You know what? This one's got to get redone entirely because I did not thread that one correctly. So let's go ahead and make sure that we're on ultra black. So what this should be is something like that. Yeah, better. That's what that should look like. To make that line better. And we'll take that out of there. I gotta be a little careful with that because it's hard to see it. So I just want to make sure I'm erasing the right stuff. Take that out. Take that out. Take that all out. And take all that out. Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Alright, let's go back to here. Let's take a look. Those are okay. Ooh, that's not. We're going to get rid of all of that. There we are. But I will put that in. Very small difference. But, I do want... No, that line looks wrong too. What I need is something like that. Maybe not. Wait, no, I know what I need. I know what I need. I got it. I got it. That's it. That's it. I needed more of an angle to it. Faint Waves, are you still there? Or did you pop back out? Are you still hanging around? Just curious. Because if you are, I'll ask you a question. But if you're gone, it's perfectly fine. Whoa, where is that? What is that line? Oh, I screwed that up. Oh, boy, did I screw that up. Hold on, I messed up a line. That should not be there. I mean, not that this is a deep question of the universe. I was just going to say, what are you up to this evening? So, that was it. Don't want to make it sound like I had some deep, probing question for you or anything like that. That was all I was going to ask if you were still around. On this fine Thursday, I assume where you are as well. But if you are not there, it is no problem at all. Which I'm assuming you are not because you haven't said anything. So, not a problem at all. I appreciate you even if you just pop in to say hello and then take off. I do that. So, I do that same thing with some people's streams. I don't like that line. I like that line less. It's just... no. I think I had it more the first time where I just kind of threaded it. There we go. Yeah, I have a suspicion that... Because I have noticed that I've been slowly adding subscribers. So I think people are finding these after the fact, which is perfectly fine. It really is. I don't know if there would be any tremendous benefit for people watching live all the time anyway. I'm sure there's some kind of monetization angle to that, but I'm not really in this for the monetization. So I don't really care. It's the only thing I could think of that would be different about watching it live. Does YouTube treat that differently? I don't even know. But honestly, I don't care. So it doesn't matter. Okay. You know what? These are not bad. These lines are actually... Okay, that's a mess. Ooh, man, that's a huge mess. Oh, we can't leave that. Oh God, that can't be like that. That's horrible. So we're gonna get rid of that one, and we're gonna get rid of that one. That's okay. Those are okay. That's okay. Yeah, some of these are... Those aren't as bad as I expected. No, that one is. We're just gonna get rid of that part of it. I can leave the rest. Yeah, that's... No, I'm getting rid of the wrong one. Should be getting rid of this one. This one needs to get redone. That's terrible. Terrible. So we'll just do this. Still not want to have the same effect, which is just do something like that. Ooh, no. God, no. That's a really fat-looking line. Let's try that. There. That's it. That's it. We got it. But actually, I really don't have to get... I expected to have to get rid of more stuff. I thought I was going to have to be... I thought I was going to have to do way more tweaking than I... ultimately I'm having to do here. So that's great. That's really good. This was a lot simpler than okay, I gotta fix that. That's no good. There, that's gotta go. Too many lines. And in fact, that's gotta go. Oh, that's gotta go too. Jeez. Yeah, this has to all go. It's too much. Okay, that part's fine. Okay. The rest of it looks all right to me. No, actually this... No, that's not that. Which one is that one? That's got to go too. That part up there can stay, but this can't. This is too much. There we go. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's okay. I mean, you have to have some kind of... You do have to have some overlap and some variation for this to work. Okay, perfect. So let's max all this stuff back out. All right. Right, there we go. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Well, you know what? Actually, this is a little crowded in here, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Wow. Yeah, I can't leave that. Let's do that. And I don't know why my throat suddenly just went on me, but it did. And let's get rid of that. Yeah, that's better. Oh, that's terrible too. Way too crowded. What is that? Why did I leave that like that? Okay. Oh, and I missed that too. Jeez. Well, that's easy enough to fix. I just gotta go in here, erase that. Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. Okay. All right, hold on. I gotta go back down to here and redo this line. Oh, no, I guess I don't. Which line is that? It's this one. This one's all wrong. I don't know why my throat is suddenly going to pieces on me. I've not been talking for that long. But boy, is it. It's falling apart. Boy, is it. No. Too nice. There. There. That's it. That's it. That's it. Oof. Yeah, I don't know why my voice... I'm not a smoker or anything. My voice should be fine. I haven't been talking that much today, I don't think. I don't remember. That line's terrible, too. Ugh, look at this thing. I can't stay like that. All right, let's see. That line is tracing from here. That's way better. That other line just looked terrible. Okay, there we are. Okay. Are those lines? Yeah, they are. Look at that. That's gotta go. That's too tight. Where is this? I tell you, it's all the little stuff. Okay. Oh, no. Whoa. What is that? That cannot possibly... No, that's got to go, too. Jeez. Boy, some of these did not look this bad when I was looking at them before. But they look pretty bad now. Yikes. Where is that line? There it is. That's terrible. That's got to go. Got to go. All right, that part's okay. I don't mind. And where... Okay, those are overlapping. Those have to go. Where are we? Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that right there, because we don't need two of them. Okay. These are too close as well. Not that one. Not that one. That one. That's gotta go. Too much. Just too much. Too heavy on that thing. Oof. Now that one's okay, but... Oh, man. Wait. Yeah, that's got to go right there. No on that. Thank you. I'm not going to worry about if some of them don't logically look like they go where they need to go. That's okay. This is more of I just don't want it to look stupid. Plus I missed that line. So see, like that, leaving... Ugh, I can't leave that. There, that's better. Actually, no, it's not. That whole thing can go. And I missed one somewhere. Clean up. It's really fun. It's fun, everybody. Okay. So that's pretty... That's... Now, there, look at those lines. See those lines that look like they go across? Like, that's just not good. That can't stay that way. That's, I think, from... Oh, yeah, look at that. That's horrible. That's from when I did that thing where I rotated it. You can tell. Because those lines don't make any sense like that. They just do not. Okay. They just do not make sense. Oh, I missed one over there, too. It's alright. I'll get it. There it is. It's just how it goes. When you're dealing with this many lines, you are inevitably going to miss some things. Like that. There it is. But it is annoying when you realize you've done it. I mean, it is. It's... I won't say it's embarrassing. It's not. It's just, this is what's going to happen. But it's just irritating when you're like, oh, God, how much stuff did I miss? Oh, I missed a lot. Okay, there we got that. But that's okay. I mean, it's getting there. It's getting there. Okay, that looks good. I do have a couple of empty spots. Like there, I missed another one. 13? 13. I knew it would be 13. Just had a hunch. All right, so now let's do... There. We're going to use on this layer. All right, and we're going to put a... Just do this carefully. There, that's good. That'll work. Just so we don't have too many empty spots. I don't like a lot of empty spots. That way there's places for the color to go, because color will be next. Color will be next. Color in the glass parts. but that's all a little ways off yet. A little ways. Not too far. Okay, erase that. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Any big gaps? No. There's a little overcrowding happening here, though. Bet you it's on 15. No, it's not 15. Which one is it? It's not 13. Wait, which one is that one? It's on 12. Yeah, 12 is, that's too much. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, that doesn't need to be there. None of that needs to be there. Oh, well, I didn't mean to erase that. That should be there. Well, it shouldn't be right here, though. So we do have to get rid of that little bit right there. This little bit right here. And, oh, and there's some more. Let's fix it. Which one is it? 12. 12. Wait, did I just erase something? No, I didn't. Okay. Okay, and that goes from there as well. And that shoots down to here. And there. Oh, what's this one? See what I mean? Cleanup takes a long time. Where are we at here? Oh, an hour and 1 minute. Okay, well, we're pretty much wrapping up here. I'm going to finish the cleanup, and that'll put us in a good position to get into color next time. So we're good here. Or we're getting to where we'll be good here. Not quite there yet, as you can see. But we're close. We're close. Oh, God, look at that. That is just awful. I'm going to get rid of this one. I don't like that. That feels like it's too much on there. Where's that from? There we go. Got it. Just missed that little bit. Okay. All right, hold on. Checking. Checking the chains. I got to check the chains on this side now. Just in case, because it's very possible I missed some other stuff. Wow. Pretty clean on this side. Kind of astonished, really. All right, well, you know what? We're in a good spot. This is a good place to end. Hour and 2 minutes. Very nice. So, yeah, the radiant lines. Okay, well, no, that one's got to go. Hold on. Yeah, that can't stay like that. That's too jumbled. That middle line's got to go. There. This line just right here has to go. That's much better. Yeah. It just can't be too clogged up. Yeah, see, like that. That's terrible looking. So we'll get rid of which line? That line. See, a little bit more. You gotta have a little bit of breathing space in there. You just have to have a little bit. It doesn't have to be a ton, but it's got to be something. That's fine. That's all fine. That's a little crowded, but not terrible. Not where I hate it. So I'm gonna be okay with that, I think. Yeah, I think everything else is okay. All right. Well, we are where we need to be to bring this particular stream to a close. So let's go ahead and do that. And yeah, well, Faint Waves, I know you're not here at the moment, but thank you very much for stopping by. I do appreciate the fact that you always try to stop by. I do, quite a bit. So thank you for coming by. And if you're watching this later, I appreciate you too. You do not have to watch this live. I'm very, very serious about that. I say it. I think some people think, I've actually had somebody say, yeah, but it kind of bothers you, right? And I'm like, no, it doesn't bother me. I really, it's fine. People come by when they come by. I'm just happy and frankly somewhat amazed. Hold on, I gotta get a drink of water. My throat's really dry. There we go. I'm very happy anybody watches it at all. Whenever. And that, knock on wood, there we go, that it's been pretty stable now. That whatever, I had plenty of problems doing this early on. And it seems to have, I seem to have it where it needs to be. So I am not going to complain. So in any event, I was talking with somebody about this earlier today, that I try to, at the end of every stream, encourage people, go be creative if you can. If you can't, go experience some more creativity now that you're done watching this. Go find somebody making music or doing another visual art or whatever. Whatever. Go experience some more creativity. I really do think it is very good for you. It's good for your mind, your body, and your soul. Whatever those things mean for you. And yeah, that's it. So the bi-weekly thing seems to be working. And I'm posting these, of course, on the YouTube channel afterwards. Not too long afterwards. I've managed to bring that amount of lag down pretty far. So you can always watch these later. And like I said, I appreciate it whenever you get to it. But try to go be creative or at least experience some creativity. It's good for you. Even a little bit goes a long way. And until the next stream, insert boilerplate language here until if ever I figure something else out to say. And on that note, thanks for stopping by and take care.